Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. So I had a subby ask me to make a video about how to authenticate a Chanel bag. From collecting Chanel bags for a few years, I've noticed a few obvious signs of a fake, so I thought I might go through those with you today. If you guys are like willing to take a risk on eBay or pre-loved these like obvious fake things, well, I guess things to look out for. So one of the first really obvious signs of a fake is definitely by just simply looking at the serial card. I find that's like the most obvious thing. So I'm going to show you guys my serial card of my authentic Chanel mini rectangle. And guys, this is probably one of the most faked bags I've seen on the market, the mini rectangle. I did get mine from the boutique. There's also a lot of fake mini rectangle with handle bags on the market, like so many, guys, and it's scary because some of the newer bags, the fake's actually pretty good. So there are some obvious signs of a fake. So this is an authentic serial card. I'm just going to cover the number just in case some other person wants to fake my bag. So if you look at this little circle here, do you see how it's kind of like, it's not an obvious CC, it's kind of like blended in? With the fake ones, it will be quite obviously just stamped. I'll try find an example, but I always look at this part, and if this looks wrong, you can tell it's fake. Also, some serial cards around the trim is like rainbow holographic. That's also fake. Sometimes the font will look a bit odd, could be a fake, but that being said, guys, some vintage bags, the fonts might vary, and actually I've seen some vintage bags that don't have that little circle there as well. So they're the obvious signs for the serial card. Like, definitely the holographicness is fake. Also, if you look at the serial, unfortunately I can't really show you my serial number while looking in here, but if you look at the serial number, I'll show you guys authentic and fake. There's some obvious fakes. So I sometimes see people in Facebook groups like ask, guys, is this fake? And it will have that really obvious fake serial number. That's an obvious way to tell it's a fake. Also, the dust bag, the packaging. I mean, sometimes an authentic bag can come with fake packaging because I don't know why, but maybe they wanted to just purchase packaging on eBay and it was fake packaging. It's unlikely. I wouldn't completely trust something if it comes with fake packaging. Sometimes the packaging can be quite obviously fake, and I would probably not take that risk because most likely the bag is also fake. With the rectangle mini bags, a lot of the fake ones I've noticed are slightly bigger, so the proportions will be off. Now the mini bags, they are seasonal, so they do change throughout the years, and definitely the proportions of like the mini square and that sort of thing, just because they vary doesn't mean it's fake. But I can tell when it is fake because usually this is the type of bag that is faked, and sometimes it's a bit bigger. The turn lock is another clear sign of it's real or fake. So see this part of the CC, it should overlap at the bottom, but a fake one, maybe sometimes this one will overlap. So just get a feel of what this should look like. So on this particular bag, it should look like this. Also, honestly, a lot of it comes down to experience with the bags and having it owned them and actually compared bags from year to years, which only comes from experience. So that's not going to help you guys if you're new to Chanel. But for me, I can authenticate bags because I've seen so many. But definitely the super fake ones, very hard for anyone to authenticate, but there are some obvious signs. So things like the hardware on fake bags, it's not going to feel the same as on an authentic bag. So I find on the authentic bags, you just get a feel for how it should feel. On the fake ones, it's going to feel a little bit more flimsy, a little bit more like almost plasticky and like flimsy. And it's quite obvious when you can see, like, when you feel the difference of what a fake bag feels like. Also smell the bag, guys, because if the bag smells quite plasticky, it's most likely fake, because Chanel bags don't have, I've noticed Chanel bags don't have a strong smell. Louis Vuitton bags do have a strong smell sometimes, weirdly, but Chanel bags, like, they have a leather smell, but it shouldn't be like super powerful, but I've noticed on a lot of fake bags, it's very strong. So that's also a sign. The leather is also a pretty obvious sign if a bag is real or fake. So on fake caviar, tends to be a little bit more like plasticky feeling, kind of almost like the structure is like too structured, and it will just have a different look to what we're used to. And it feels fake because I can't really explain it, because what I would actually recommend to you guys is, I know this is kind of like wasting people's time, but if don't spend too much time, but maybe go to a designer store. Say if you're trying to buy a Chanel bag, go to Chanel, have a little look at the bags. Don't be too like crazy, because you know they are for sale, and you don't want to be opening and like looking into them, because you know they are trying to sell those bags. But have a little look at what a real one should look like, and really observe it, really have a look, and then that will give you more of an idea of what it shouldn't look like as well. So it really comes from experience and observing bags that is going to help you with authentication. Now, I've noticed that with vintage bags, there tends to be a lot less fakes out there, but there is still fake vintage bags, unfortunately, like the Diana bag and some of the more popular vintage bags. There's definitely fakes out there. But I would say most of the time when you're buying vintage, it's most likely real. There is a lot more fake Chanel 19s, minis with top handle, a lot of fake Coco handles, guys, like fake classic flaps, all the newer kind of really trendy bags, a lot of fakes out there. So for example, the Chanel 19, I have seen so many fakes, guys. I can usually tell from the hardware, it's not going to be as thick as this. Usually it's a lot like the loops are larger, the proportions will be different, it's going to look maybe bigger, maybe even more saggy, and just a little bit more, the stitching might be a little bit more obvious as well on fake bags. You might even find that, you know, the hardware, it's just doesn't look as tight, and just little details like that. For me, it's quite obvious, but for someone who was not, you know, that hasn't seen a Chanel 19 bag before, like, who would know, right? So yeah, definitely you need to just go look at the real thing and then compare it to what you're seeing on the internet, because yeah, things like Chanel 19, if you're buying it on eBay, a little bit risky. Now, if you're buying something from Fashion File or Real or Vestiaire, they do tend to have, you know, that guarantee of authenticity. But I would also recommend that you maybe take your bag to a local bag spa, and they might have Entropy, which uses a microscope to authenticate bags, and that will just give you a little bit peace of mind if you double authenticate your bag with the Entropy device. I would also, for Chanel, maybe send through some photos to Zico. She's got quite an eye for Chanel as well, and I love hearing her opinion. She's very good with vintage Chanel, and she has a lot of knowledge. So there are a lot of people out there who have been studying these bags for many years. So for me, I've only really been looking at them for like 5 years, and I can already kind of tell if something is real or fake. But there are people who have been really looking at these bags for, you know, 30 plus years, and they tend to be older. Like, I know there's that Baba Baby lady as well. Guys, well, I don't know why my camera keeps cutting out when I'm talking, but I was talking about Baba Baby. Yeah. I don't really know much about her, but I know a lot of people go to her for authenticating Hermes. She's like a super pro, and oh my gosh, she has some really nice like Hermes bags, guys. Like, anyway, so I really admire people who specialize in a certain brand and have, you know, the knowledge to authenticate, because they actually, I trust them more than like these AI like technology like Entropy and stuff, because they've actually experienced and seen so many bags and studied them, and they specialize in it. So you know, becoming an authenticator is not something I think you can really become in like 2 years. It's something that you really need to study over many years, and especially with brands like Chanel, like how are you supposed to know what the difference between like a Chanel bag from 1991 looks to like 2001 to like 2021? Like, to someone it could be like, well, it looks completely different, it must be fake. That's not the case. You really need to understand how styles should look, and I know for the newer bags, as I said, there's a lot of super fakes out there now, like with the mini rectangles and all that stuff, and they're like super fakes, and it can be quite scary to be able to tell the difference. But I know that there are some bags that are a bit older, which they're definitely not faked because they're a little bit under the radar. You know, I haven't seen, like I have, to be honest, all my bags could have been faked at one point, but you know, just from me entropying them, entropy was good. Definitely doing my own research, comparing to the real thing, looking at the serial numbers, you know, the quilting, the stitches, they've all helped me determine for myself if I think they're real. And definitely it's yeah, as I said, it's a bit scarier with some of the newer bags, but yeah, guys, let me know if you have any more questions. I'm happy to answer them down below, and thanks for the video suggestion, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.